Okay.
Let's go.
Hey guys, we are here. This is Basha.
Hello. Here we are. This is Kate.
Hey. We look like we are from two different time zones, countries, which we are.
We
Also
are.
clients. You're like so proper with the jacket on, and I'm like on a beach. I
I want to be on the beach.
have a wet hair, like I look like really.
You are full of sunlight and you look beautiful, as
Thank you. I
always.
love your hair. You look beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? That woman actually does this kind of compliments to each other. We were talking about that the other day. My husband was saying, there is this whole like in the locker room at the gym, they all bond with each other, the man. But he goes to a Westchester club, not in New York. New
Yeah.
York is different, I think. New York, people come and go, like very serious workout. I think his club is more like a social club where the men kind of insult each other as a joke, and that's how they bond. Like, oh, how did you make that big belly? Give me what you are eating to achieve that. That kind of a joke. We women would never do that. We would only compliment each other. Isn't that funny?
It is so funny. And you are absolutely right. I think about my husband on the golf course. All they do is like razz each other the whole time. Yeah, I know.
Different ways of bonding, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Funny.
So,
So,
how is your week been?
my week has been lovely and busy, very, very good. But your week has been even more interesting, right? Because you've been
Quite
just,
interesting, yeah.
yeah.
I've done a retreat last week, and it was amazing. It always is, but I feel that Turkey is especially because it's my home country. So the energies
Yes.
are really, I feel it. I feel so at home.
Mhm.
And the place we do is just beautiful, wonderful. They are very hospitable. But people, I mean, every retreat is different because of the participation, because of, I guess, where we are at our practice, obviously. But there was so much here. It was such a beautiful, retreat that we get to be very quiet. And
Yeah.
in that quiet, there's so much unravels, right? In quiet, you really find the deepest thoughts and deepest kind of heart
Answers.
space, love, and
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we do this like one day silent day in our retreats. And that's usually the very potent day in terms of energies because in silence you realize the patience, how
Ah.
we need to be patient. And
Oh, you froze. You froze, Bashak. Up. You froze. You're still frozen. I know you were talking about patience. Hopefully you will come back. Oh dear. Oh, you're frozen. Ay, ay,
I'm
ay.
back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh boy.
You know what happened? Our internet was
Drop.
off.
Okay.
Um,
Oh dear. Ay.
Sorry about that. My internet was off, electricity gone, but now I'm back.
Oh my gosh, that's so quick. Is this what happens in Turkey? It goes off and then goes back on sometimes?
Um, well, we have a generator, luckily.
Oh, so the
So
electricity went off and
that's
now your
that's it.
generator's going on. Wow. Okay. All
So it
right.
worked out. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm mumbling but there's so much takeaways. But one of the takeaways is, that's what we wanted to talk about this topic today, patience.
Yes. Yes. And so,
I have a quote. I have two quotes actually
okay. Bring on the
that
quotes.
I So the first quote says, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet.
Its fruit is sweet. This is true. This is
That's
very, very
Jean-Jacques
true.
Rousseau.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I, the thing about patience too is that one thinks one is being patient. But oftentimes, the more you think about it is really because your patience is starting to fray, you know? So as soon as I start to think, oh, I must be patient, I know that the opposite is happening, which is a very interesting thing, right? So how do you cultivate patience? How do you sort of work that muscle of patience so that when the event happens that you actually have to be patient for, you can do that with grace and ease? Do you have an answer to that? She asked.
Yeah. Um, well, I don't know because I think patience is, considered a virtue, right? In especially yoga culture. Um, and there's a lot reveals in when you are patient, when you are not rushing around, when you are stable, steady,
Yeah.
and you are in this space of receiving and waiting. And it's not a passive thing, like that's a big distinction, I think, because patience can seem like something very passive,
Passive? Yep.
but actually it requires so much mental. Yeah, I feel that one can only be patient. Oh, is my internet bad again?
Yeah, it's that's kind of like a delay. Yes.
Delay? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little
How
bit.
is it now?
It's good now. It's okay. You sort of
Okay,
you came
now.
in and out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, to have patience means like to have trust, right? To have trust that I can actually, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to keep running around, try to
Right.
figure out things.
Right. Right. So if you so so you're getting frustrated. So you can be impatient about you can be impatient with people, you can be impatient with your situation, you can be impatient with your life. So so part of the way to combat that impatience is to surrender perhaps and just you know, so this is difficult because you surrender, but at the same time, I guess I'm talking to what you're saying is that you want to do something. You know, I want to do something to alleviate that patience,
It's
but you're saying,
constant doing, right? That's
yes,
that's where we get trapped. This constant doingness
yes,
rather than beingness that we want to focus on more.
yes,
I think there's this aspect of ego versus soul, that true self we call it, right? Ego
mhm,
wants immediate results.
right,
And I think soul understands there's eternity,
right,
So I think patience always almost allow us to transcend the ego that becomes impatient and listen to the slower rhythm of your true self, of your inner voice.
yeah, yeah,
Or like really be present to really receive what is actually going on
right.
versus the stories that you make about what's going on.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So you feel that impatience, which right away when you say that word, there's a lot of angst, you know, already goes in your body. And if you can let that go, you're saying that then you're tapping into your soul, and that soul has all eternity to work on things, to figure things out. So if you can just tap into that sense of like, there's plenty of time, there's plenty. This is the thing about abundance too. Oftentimes, right? Yeah, so that oftentimes you're impatient because you're not getting what you want or you're feeling like things aren't going your right way. So if you can just say, if you can let that go, oh, easily, so easy to say, so easy to really truly do, and tap into that abundance, tap into that sense of it's all as it's supposed to be. And I know I say that, and I know people hate sometimes when I say that, certain people in my life.
It's hard. I mean, for all of us, I'm a very impatient person. And I'm really working on that. And it's funny, I'm being tested with that all the time,
Mhm.
I feel, with people around me, with situations, there's always a test. But I think it's beautiful that I know it's a test.
Right,
At least I have that awareness, right?
right,
And that I can practice it. And sometimes it feels ingenuine, you know. I show patience to someone sometimes, but inside me, I'm like, oh, I'm
right.
not really what I seem like.
Yes,
But that's okay. I think
that's
that's
okay.
still the process.
Yes, you're trying to match the inside and the outside. Right, exactly. Well,
Exactly.
And we are all of us who drive are faced with impatience in the car. I mean, that is just a test that we all go through, you know? And
So funny you said that. My
yeah,
husband just said this morning, I told him, I told him we are doing this about patience, and he
yeah.
said, do you think you're more impatient about people or when you're driving about other drivers? And I said, definitely when I'm driving. And yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's
it's
not because
amazing. Another side of me comes up.
yes, I know. And actually, you know, my husband and I, when we drive together, we both get irritated. But now that we sort of vocalize it, it helps dissipate it, right? We're like, okay, we
I
got to be kind.
remember,
Yeah. What?
remember when you were in Turkey,
Yeah.
when I was driving and your husband was really helpful letting people know how we feel about them.
Anyone who knows him knows that this is a thing. So in Turkey, we were in the back seat. He's rolling down the window and yelling at the Turkish drivers in English, and they're all like yelling back at him. That
It's so funny.
it was, and it
Oh,
did make us laugh. And then the impatience sort of dissipated, right? It was, yeah,
it's interesting. Like I've been focusing on, you know, when I say something negative to another person because I'm impatient about what they are doing, I realize that I'm calling that energy into my space. So I've been saying like whenever they do something wrong or they cut through me and whatever it is, I've been like saying, I love you. And that kind of became my motto. The way that I say it is not very loving, perhaps, but the words are loving words.
yes,
And then I actually find that it comforts me and it actually calms me down because I think sound vibration is so important. What we say, what
yeah.
comes out of our mouth, we listen more than anything else. So I've been finding that very helpful as a practice.
I love that. Suddenly, I had this vision of everybody in the road instead of saying, you know, the swear word that people mostly say,
Yeah.
um, yelling "I love you" at each other.
Right.
It's quite a beautiful thing. I love that, Bashak.
And I think, yeah, I mean, practice, right? We say for everything, whatever you want to be, or yeah, you want to feel, you want to have, whatever in life, you need to practice already having that, already being that, because you bring the energy that receive. So
Right.
everything life comes from you, right? So practice
Right.
in the positive way, I think is what, and detachment, of course, because uh, whatever you practice may not be received the way you want it to be received, and that's
Right.
okay.
That's okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. So I'm thinking that some of the emotions that come up in me when I'm trying to be patient is sometimes, and this is all ego related, but is a sense of like, why should I be the one being patient?
Ah,
Right? What about the other person? And it's all, and it is tied into a bit. We'll talk about this some other time, like sort of being the good girl or being the one who's so good that I'm going to be the one. But there's a little sense of like, but I'm doing all the work.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
is, I need to work on that a lot.
That's the detachment part, right? Like not feeling resentment for what you don't receive that you are owed,
Yeah.
right? That's sometimes kind of a challenging thing. Yeah, if you can just, and I totally feel that.
Right.
You expect people to behave certain way when you do things certain way, and
Yeah.
then when they don't return that back at you, you're angry. I believe
Right.
me, I
Right.
get it.
And the true thing is to offer it and be completely detached from it. It's so difficult. It is so difficult.
Practice.
Yep.
Practice. And
Practice.
the practice of patience, I think, in yoga, we have such beautiful ways that we practice that, like holding poses in yoga class, right? Especially challenging ones. That really trains the nervous system to stay calm under pressure. That's an aspect of being patient.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was giving a friend of mine who has never done yoga some lessons just online, and he was so impatient with himself, like he wanted it to be perfect immediately. I was like in my head, I'm like, oh wow, This is so interesting. So then we stopped and we talked about it. And then he started to understand, oh, because he thought, because he's a very good athlete, that he would just be able to do it immediately. I was like, no, my friend, you are a very good athlete, but you've never done this sport before. So step by step, slowly, and then we talked about taking that same attitude off the mat, which we talk about in yoga a lot, right? So if you can have that compassion for yourself and have patience with yourself, as you say, that's the practice. And then you go out and, yep, yeah.
And then, like everything, like aside from your, the breath work, right? Meditation.
Mhm.
These are all the tools that actually slows down the mind and teaches us to be present and be more patient. I notice in my meditation practices, I used to do it like, um, very determined still, but I need to get through it. Like this is my
Yeah.
meditation time. Do it, and I can't wait for it to end
Yes.
almost. But as I practice it and not, just give it up, now I feel so much pleasure.
Yeah.
Like I totally, like I want to be there. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to leave that moment. But that comes with years and years of I mean, everybody is different. I mean,
Right.
people, some gets it much faster maybe than I am.
Right.
But it's just so beautiful to have that patient, have that practice teaches you how to be patient, and then you have the results,
Right.
right? That's the beauty of it. There's another quote that I don't know who said this quote, but it said, "Have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy."
Yeah. It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very true. Well, um, I'm gonna, the meditation, did you feel like when you first, do you feel like it's sort of, does it get better and harder and easier step by step, or do you feel that you sometimes drop back and then you have to sort of gather your patience with yourself?
Oh, right. Like it's
Yes.
in waves, of
Yeah.
course. I
Okay.
think that's the challenging part of being human. There's so much influences your environment, the food that you eat,
Hmm.
the people you interact with, or the news that I mean, everything is, we are such complicated beings.
Hmm.
So I think meditation also goes in this ebb and flows. Well, I'm coming out of a retreat that I've been meditating powerfully
Hmm.
for a long time. And of course, I'm still carrying that energy with me. You go put me in a middle of the city in a busy life, maybe I'm not going to feel that peaceful,
Yeah.
so but the point is, not to give up the practice.
Right.
Whatever it shows up, not to be attached to how it's going to show up. I think that's the patience also,
Yes.
right? It's not like all of a sudden I have this practice and it's going to be, I'll be get attached to that.
Right.
So
Right.
how do I drop all those attachments again? Another practice.
Right.
Life is like all this string of practices, I feel.
Yeah.
There's always a new one. It's never ending.
It's never ending. And as you talk about this, it makes me want to talk to a musician, because I feel the idea of practicing a musical instrument has so much in sort of in sync with meditation, because I mean, I played the violin for a tiny bit and I played the piano for a teeny tiny bit, not very, didn't do much, but I do remember once you get a piece into your head, like a musical piece in your head, because you practice, and then it can flow. Once it's there in your fingertips, in your body. And so it would be very interesting to
Same thing
talk.
with a dancer, right?
Of
We had a
course.
dancer, yes, but same thing with a dancer or even yoga practitioner, right?
Yes.
There's a certain amount of strength to endure, right?
Yes.
And but with grace. So
Yes.
that's the part, like, I think that's what really cultivates this beautiful result of patience. And I think it brings up so much wisdom to wait
Yeah.
without anxiety.
So here's another question then. So do you think there's any, I mean, is there a moment, so we're talking about, letting things go and stepping back and letting and being patient, but when do you know that, okay, it's time to be patient is over? Do you know what I mean? Because people do
Oh,
reach
when
chapter.
do you take action, right?
Yes, exactly. So if you're giving the space and da, 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 I mean, I'm talking about, I think about working with other people at work, or an employee that's not living up to expectations, things like that. Like how
Oh,
what do you
good.
think about that?
It's a
It's a
good
difficult
question.
question.
I'm going to do a presentation at a pharmaceutical company in September here in Turkey,
Hmm.
and they wanted to talk about empowerment, and particularly for women.
Hmm.
I've been like thinking about that, contemplating on that, and one thing that comes up, empowerment as a word, it sounds like it is something given to somebody. But it is this idea also to not to wait for the power to be given to you, but connect to your power to put forth out, right? So that trust that I am enough in that
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
So in similar way, I think there is a moment of course, grace, right? Just having the patience to hear and with all your senses absorb and see, because allow it to reveal to you.
Yeah.
And then, but it becomes a point that you have no option but to take a step. And I'll give you an example.
Yes. Yes.
When I was trying to leave my corporate job and to do yoga full time, there was a couple of years of this, like maybe 10 years actually, to really wanting to do this, but then lots of mind stuff, not allowing me to do this, not ready, whatever, all these concerns, anxieties. So, so then I gave myself some space. I said, okay, I can't live like this. I just have to just let things unfold itself and do what I need to do. So I kept doing what I'm doing. Then I never forget again, we were in a retreat in Turkey. And one morning after the meditation, I walked out and I went directly to my husband and my mother. They were sitting at a table at breakfast, and I said to them, I'm ready. It's
Mhm.
time. Now it's time. And they're like, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
It's unexplainable. I
Yeah.
just felt that all that waiting was over. Now I could make that decision.
Ah,
But if I rushed and made that decision based on my mind telling me this is what I want, then it wouldn't be the right timing.
right. That is a beautiful way of expressing it because you can take that into any situation. So, with an employee, you wait, you listen, you gather all the information, you don't jump into something, and then at some point it's time to take action. It's beautiful.
Right.
I
That
love that.
waiting is so important, and I wrote
Right.
about that in my book too,
Mhm.
Uncomplicated. That especially, let's say you're a new employee, you're getting into a new situation. That's the time to wait and observe and really
Yes.
understand and not jump and let
Right.
them know from the ego who you are and what you're gonna do amazingly and differently. No, 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 no. Nobody will listen to you.
No, because they'll go, you don't know, you don't even know us yet, right? You have to,
Exactly. You
yeah,
don't know what you're talking. Every dynamic is different. Every situation is different. That's
yeah,
the time to sit, observe, be quiet.
yeah,
Don't jump in the first meeting and start talking. Nobody
right.
wants to listen to that.
Well, this is so sort of, our American culture is so one of those cultures like you need to be seen, you need to be heard, and particularly with the internet, you know what I mean? So it's very, very difficult, I think, for some people, not to cultivate that or to feel like there's strength in that, to feel like there's strength in the being quiet and listening.
And you said that so beautifully. This empowerment talk that I'm going to give, I'm going to talk about that too. Like, it's not about you being loud and on the screen and being seen and heard. It's about that quiet power,
Yep, yep,
right? It's about embodying
yep,
that feeling of being powerful,
yep,
but not like screaming.
yep,
Like,
yeah,
that's the difference, I think. And when you're authentic like that, then people hear you. People
right.
really be interested and talk to you rather than you're just telling them, look at me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Short-sighted.
and when you meet somebody or you're in a room with somebody who has that power, you see that people are drawn to it.
Oh my God, like
Absolutely.
a light, like
Yeah. The
completely
moths.
absorbing you and like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we know of certain people, you and I, certain, swamis, certain
Mhm.
yogis that we know very well. They enter into the room and you're drawn to their energy. They don't speak. They don't say much. They don't
Yeah.
like waste words.
Yes.
They say so little,
Yes.
but they're powerful
I know. I know. Even
because I
on,
think they have that virtue of patience.
yes. And there's that joyfulness too, which sometimes comes with that too. That's, and I think we're
It's
just,
so
yeah.
beautiful. Like when you are, I think, quiet, that there is really that heart connection happens, and the heart is joyful.
Yeah.
The heart is blissful.
Yeah.
The heart is all about love.
Yeah.
And when we can listen and be still, we really connect to that.
Yeah.
And then it's everything is just easy.
Easy. That's the word that came to me too. Even when you speak that way, I start to feel ease, the ease coming into the body, you know? It's, and
And consider that everything that we are making so difficult is usually we are making it so difficult, right?
right.
Like the mind is making it so difficult, projecting all these things,
Yeah.
and then we believe in all that, and it's just, and then it's, maybe it's not.
I know. I know.
And then patience, like not to jump into, I have to take action right now. I am ill. I need to do something right now and do the fix immediately. Go,
Yeah.
people do that too. Like, I'm gonna go get surgery immediately. And
I
in
know.
yoga therapists, we are yoga therapists. So we say, before you do that step, let's see if there's a way to do it more gently
Yeah.
with certain, practices and certain awareness.
Yeah.
Um, because, not everything needs to get to that nth degree immediately.
Right. I have to just jump into that and say that personally, and I don't think she'll mind I say this, but my mother has had issues with her hip, and um, you know, I've been wanting her to go get a scan and, and figure out what it is. And she doesn't want to do that. She's a certain age. She just doesn't want to do that. But she's been working with her exercise person very, very gently. And just the other day, she goes, I know you won't really believe this, not believe this, but she said, I just want you to know that I really think it's a little bit better. I'm able to go up the stairs a little bit, but it doesn't hurt quite as much. And I was like, that's great, Mom. So they're doing tiny, tiny bits, but it's what her heart wants to do. It's how she wants to deal with it. And for her, it's working. And so I was like, okay, I've got to really, I want to fix her, I want to save her.
Yes, yeah.
But,
We should-
it's amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
patient.
get that way with our parents too,
Yeah.
because we think that we want to fix and we want to don't let them fade away.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a difficult one. Anyway, that's a whole another
That's a
conversation.
whole nother conversation. All
But
right.
it's
So,
beautiful that you can be patient with her, even though you feel certain
yes,
way. Allow her
yes,
to have her solution for now.
yes. It's a very good thing. I've learned a lot. Gosh, when do we stop learning?
Never. I think
Never.
that's why it's beautiful. Like, how can we say we know anything?
I know.
It's
I
just
know.
so beautiful not knowing
I
and
know.
constantly learning, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, I think the part that I really want to highlight is the faith part.
Hmm.
Surrender only can come if you have faith in
Hmm.
something bigger than yourself.
Right.
There was an electrician came to our home yesterday to try to fix some things. And, Turkey's political climate has been very unstable and very difficult. Anyway, I try not to listen or look at the news too much. I just get the gist of it, but don't get into story too much. But, it created a certain amount of distrust in the culture, especially spiritually.
Hmm.
They're like, he was telling me, I used to be someone who goes to mosque and who prays to God. But now, with everything that's going on in our lives, I don't believe in God anymore. I'm done. I don't have any trust that there is a higher power. So it was so interesting that all of a sudden I find myself having this deep conversation with this guy.
Right. This theological discussion with the electrician. I love it. I
I
love
know
it.
it was, but it was, I understood that, I understood how everything is influencing.
Mm.
But also, this man says he used to be very spiritual and he used to believe in higher power. So, where
Mhm.
did that go? It got influenced by these external forces.
Yeah.
But deep inside, we all have that. We all have that yearning to unite and to trust, to surrender
Right.
the one that, who created us.
Yeah.
Whatever your belief system is, there is a
Yes.
higher creative being in the universe. Obviously, all of this is being created. So if you lose that trust, what a lonely way to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's lonely,
Yeah.
right? So
Empty.
anyway,
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
into that direction. It's
Yeah.
just so easy to go to different
I know.
directions.
Well, do you think that this person that you were talking with, did the idea of like that he would come back to it, did you felt like, that he had to sort
Oh
of
no,
weed it
right now
out?
is a big time no.
Oh,
But I
wow.
try to show to him that we don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a higher knowledge,
Yeah.
a wisdom out there in the universe that our small brains cannot really grasp the reasons or meanings of things. Why this is happening to me? Why this is happening to this country? Or
Yeah.
what we don't know
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Can intellectually dissect and, come up with an idea, but we don't know the bigger plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So patience, so difficult when you are living through something. Being patient, especially in this aspect, really difficult.
Yes.
But we just have to, because then you can drive yourself crazy every day.
Right. Right. And then, then who's winning?
Right.
You are not
You're
winning.
not winning.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So if you want to live fully, joyfully, right? That's the whole purpose, that we want to find this happiness in life. Then I need to just let go of some of that and trust in something higher than myself, that I am being taken care of,
Yeah.
and things will turn out the way they need to.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean for activists not to do anything about it, right? That I'm not suggesting that at all. If there's anything you can do about it, you should. And
Right.
just being the good person, a good neighbor, a good um, parent already is
Right.
doing something about it.
Right. Yeah, one just have to be careful when you talk about this, because you're not saying being passive in terms of living your life, but it's sort of like an internal thing of allowing time, being patient with what's unfolding,
And
and not
control what you can control, right?
exactly
You
control
know,
what you can control. Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Like giving good education, to, and learning in the right way, and having a, influence on younger generation or whatever that may be, just doing the right things
Yeah.
for you. When I say right, I don't mean right,
Yeah.
universal right, right? I'm talking about what feels right to you.
Right to you, what your path is. Yeah.
But there is a universal right, which is a whole another conversation. We'll talk about that on another.
You're being impatient here. Let's stay to the topic. No.
I am being impatient here. Yeah, it
Your
shows up.
brain. All right. So
Totally. Grasping.
what is our own work today about
Homework
patience?
today.
Yes. Yeah.
Patience. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
What is your own
That
work?
how do you practice patience authentically is the, I think, homework for me to really look into.
Hmm.
You know, as I said, I've been getting better at not externally being impatient, but internally I'm still impatient in most cases. So I think just taking a quiet moment for me, I think is a big one. When I can remove myself from a situation that's actually creating some kind of a, action on anxiety or desire,
Hmm.
can I just step away and be quiet and breathe for a moment,
Yeah.
calm it down,
Yeah.
and then see what that reveals,
Yeah.
rather than going, go, 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 jumping one after another.
Yeah. I like that. Finding that space. So that's really good. So I think I would practice that as well. I think immediate thing, I was impatient with my husband last night. So after this, I'm going to go and make amends. So
Beautiful.
that's
That's a beautiful thing, right?
yes.
Forgive fully and completely,
Yeah.
and also say, I'm sorry from the
Yep.
heart.
Yep.
Those are great
Absolutely.
principles to live by.
Yeah. It's funny how the ego doesn't want to. You know how they say you shouldn't go to bed angry? I think we both went to bed angry, so that
Oh, okay. Not tonight.
not tonight.
I love it. Thank
All
you,
right.
Kate.
Thank you
It's
so much.
so
Enjoy
much more to
yourself in your
explore.
home country here.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, and all the best to you. Much
Thank
love.
you. Much love. All right, shall we dance our way out like we always do?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's see if I can get the right music. You know, sometimes, oh, I'm not going to worry about being right. It's going to be what it is. There we go. Bye, Bashak. Thank you.
Bye
Merci.
bye. See you next week.